Bem, amigos por carros, vocês pediram, nós entregamos, direto de Nürburgring. Nós estamos aqui na ApC, mas antes de começar, lembrar a todos vocês que o Amigos por Carros está formatando um projeto de turismo automotivo com o pessoal da Mannequin Travel. Tem um link no descritivo do vídeo aqui para vocês acessarem e saberem um pouquinho mais do que vai estar incluso nesse pacote. E que o Amigos por Carros é um oferecimento dela via pneus. Quem precisa trocar pneus, preços imbatíveis na linha de pneus Pirelli e Nexen com a dela via. Estamos aqui na ApC. A gente recebeu incontáveis mensagens pedindo para nós conversarmos com uma figura simbólica aqui do circuito. State your name for the camera, please.
Hi guys, my name is Misha, and welcome to the NÜRBURGRING.
Exactly. O Misha ele tem um canal aqui que é muito bacana. Ele está relacionado à ApC, que é uma empresa que aluga carros aqui para vocês irem para o autódromo. Vocês vão ver um outro pedaço desse vídeo contando um pouco mais da parte do que você precisa levar em conta na hora de vir para cá. Mas uma das coisas mais legais para quem é verdadeiramente fanático por Nürburgring é seguir o canal do Misha. Vocês vão ver o link aqui no descritivo do vídeo. Porque, cara, esse cara entende de Nürburgring como ninguém mais. Obviamente, ele não vai falar em português, então eu vou fazer as perguntas em inglês e vocês vão ver as legendas aí no vídeo. So, Misha, basically, tell us a little bit about ApC and yourself. How did it all start for you? You know?
Okay, well, it could be a long story, so I try to make it as short as possible. I came here to the NÜRBURGRING because I got the job offer about 4 years ago. So I was working for another company which is doing car rentals, so I helped to make it big. And then eventually I didn't like the way things were going, so I quit. And then around the same time, a friend of mine, Robert, he bought the house that you see here, which he wanted to have it as a holiday home. And then we started talking, and yeah, one thing led to another, and I said, hey, would you like to start a business? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, you know. And eventually, our main goal was always, when we talked about it, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to make out of ApC? And I always say, you know what? Yeah, for example, Piston Closet, which is like most famous, iconic restaurant of the NÜRBURGRING. I said, ApC, I want to make something similar that people would come to the NÜRBURGRING, they would know we need to come to ApC because it's something special. So what is ApC? It is a car rental company. It's a small hotel. We have 5 rooms as of now. We offer also instructions whenever it's possible for people who come here with their own car. As of this year, we massively expanded our business ventures because we also have added ApC Taxi, for example. So we're an official partner of the NÜRBURGRING. So if people come here and they don't have the skill or the urge to drive a car themselves, but they want to experience the full trail, they can jump in a taxi and do it. And our latest edition is ApC Media, where we can actually make professional photo shoots and video shoots of the cars of the people. So we actually try, and who knows what's going to happen next year. But the long story short, we want to offer to any car enthusiast or NÜRBURGRING enthusiast anything what they actually want. The only thing we're missing so far is a restaurant.
Yeah, I guess that'll come shortly, right?
Yeah, maybe at some point we're going to end up, but like I said, we want to make people's dreams come true, whether it's just to come here and drive a single lap on the track on the world famous NÜRBURGRING, or if they want to go something crazy, they want to enter racing. And racing is planned for next year, so we're going to enter racing. We actually wanted to start this year, but the things just got a bit crazy. We don't have time for it. So again, ApC is pretty much, we try to offer anything NÜRBURGRING related as possible. And when it's not possible, we always have a way from our friends and partners who can make it possible for you guys. That's about our business in general. Yeah, you can always check out the website, and if you have some special questions, always feel free to email us, and we can help you guys out to make your dream come true. Whether it's just to have a picture of your car on a track or like a full package. We have people coming here from other parts of the world, from Australia, from Indonesia, staying here with us for literally a month and doing crazy things. So again, whether you just want to do one lap or if you want to come here and do the whole thing, then we can make it happen. Let us know. If you want to ask about me, well, I'm just a guy who likes cars.
I know. I've been following you on YouTube for a long time. About a year I met you, kind of like that. I remember the lug nut with the A45, the importance of torquing your lug nuts before going to track days.
Yeah.
And actually, the other question that I had for you is, how is it the day-to-day of living here in the Nürburgring? Do you live here the whole year, including the winter time? How do you get to experience the manufacturers doing the track times, the lap times, you know, Porsche? If you could just tell us a little bit about how does it work, you know, because everybody dreams about the Nürburgring. I think if you talk to a car enthusiast, they want to live here forever and do stuff like this forever. But how is it in practice?
How is it in practice? Well, there are two big different things. So on one side, you have the Nürburgring itself, and there's lots of things you can do. A lot of people who like think of the Nürburgring, they either have only one thing in their head. Some people only think about racing. Other people think that there's only Sabine Schmitz and driving people around. She's not driving the taxi for a decade anymore. People get back in time.
That was one of the questions. What happened to Sabine?
We'll get to that later.
All right.
But a lot of people have always like one fixed image about the Nürburgring. Some people think like people die here every day. This is also not true. But in reality, there are lots of things happening. So, for example, you have Touristenfahrten, the public sessions, where anyone can go with a street legal car and drive the track. You have racing, lots and lots of racing. You have the VLN series, which has 9 races per year. In addition, on top is endurance racing, it's 4-hour race, and there's 1 6-hour race, and there's on top 24-hour race. There's RCN. Sometimes you have WTCC, which is now WTCR, that comes to race here once a year together with N24. You have DTM. Someday, maybe again Formula One, I'm pretty certain it's going to come back. So lots of racing is happening. Then you have track days, which is similar to public sessions where people can drive, but it's a bit different. As of last year, when Nürburgring has received a new ownership, the new owner, new management, they started to attract lots of also other activities. So for example, music festivals. As of last year, we have 3 different music festivals. We have Rock am Ring, which is world famous, the rock festival. We have the EDM festival, so electronic dance music. We have Schlager festival, so it's like really German, lederhosen, drinking beer type of thing. There's lots and lots of things happening. And on top of that, you have pretty much every single weekday, you have industry pool where car manufacturers come and drive. So there's just like, life doesn't stop here. Well, to be honest, it stops like at about 7:30, then you go to a restaurant and then you're done, and then next day starts all over. So there's lots of things happening, apart from in the winter, but then again, they try to attract some things for in the winter. You have now the winter hell run, which is like people just like running with obstacles on the track. It's pretty fun, it's pretty cool. But then there is like the people who work for it side of things. So if you like look at my agenda, a lot of people think like, you're living the dream and this and that. And I usually show between 10 and 20 minutes of a daily basis of something what's happening, whether it's like a couple of things that I pick together and put in one composition, or it's like one specific subject. Okay, 919 is doing a lap record now, so it's like the whole video dedicated to that.
That's the thing that you're jumping on our seats. Whenever Misha is telling you, we just had information about the GT2 RS or the SVJ.
A lot of people actually like really like that, because people say to me that they purchase on what I already am telling them. So people who have the money to buy this type of cars, they say like, we're waiting for a video because we know that you're not going to bullshit. Because you're not trying to influence our opinion. So if you're going to say like, okay, this car's actually done it, and holy shit, it's amazing, and etc., that kind of really like, I appreciate it a lot. That makes me want to go out there, stand in the rain under the bridge and whatnot, and to make this type of content for people. But going back to my point, apart from all this beauty, for us as a business, there's lots of other things that we need to, unfortunately, to do behind the scenes that would not be interesting for people to see. And again, we're short. People who come here, if you want to come here and live the Nürburgring, this year, for my personal pleasure, I drove 5 laps. Ooh. 5 laps. When I would get in the car, probably maybe even less than that. When I get in the car, and I would say, okay, I don't need to taxi anyone around. I don't need to sit next to him and coach them around. I don't need to drive someone around because it's a famous YouTuber and make something. Just me, myself, the car, and helmet, ears closed off, and fun, 5 laps. Although the track is every single day open. I'm on the track every single day, but nothing. So, and that's actually pretty much for everyone. So I just want to give the clear message out there. If you want to come here, if you don't care about this thing, but you should not come here to work because you think you'll get to drive the track, because that will not happen. because the work happens during the season. In off-season, of course, you can get paid through the winter and not do less than you would do, but you don't get to drive the track. So if you're really like big enthusiast, move to Germany, go work in a big city, get more money, and then come on the weekend here and drive it. But don't come live at the Nürburgring to work for the Nürburgring, because you will end up like just working for it and not enjoy it. That's like a reality what people like do need to understand and see. So just like a big piece of advice. And maybe Bruno can tell you later on more that and confirm this point of view.
Actually, a question that I have. What would be Misha's first advice for people coming here to drive in the Nürburgring for the first time? The first drive.
First drive, we need to, there's a question, are you coming and you rent a car, or are you coming with your own car? If you're coming with your own car, then there's a lot of extra steps you need to take care of. You need to make sure that the brakes are fine, the tires are good.
No, I think that for the Brazilians
that come here and they rent a car, okay. So first of all, take the cheapest but safest car, because of, I don't want to talk bad about people, but not every company is the same. So sometimes people offer shit boxes, which is for fun and shits and giggles. If you're a good driver and you know when, okay, the brakes are gone now, but I can still drive, then it's fine. But as a beginner driver, take something again like a decent car, but don't spend too much money, because you think, okay, I need the BMW M4 because it's an M power and it's fast and it's a great track car. No, take something slow. Because the first time you're not going to be using all those horsepowers. I'm more than happy to sell anyone the most expensive car we have and make lots of money of you, but at the end of the day you'll be a dissatisfied customer unless you come here, because they're again the type of people who just come here to show off, and there's nothing wrong with that, that's fine. Then it's fine, take the most expensive car, drive the slowest lap in the history of the Nürburgring, and eventually you'll be able to say that you drove the Porsche something on the Nürburgring. Nobody's gonna ask you questions for video proof, because you're gonna say, I was going so fast, the camera was just like not even rigged. If you're coming the first time, take the slowest car possible, mandatory, take an instructor, at least for one lap. Because although you drove 10,000 laps on Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo, every single person that has done it so far, and they come like this, like, oh, I did 200,000 laps, and after the first lap, after the first kilometer on the track, me sitting next to them, like, holy fuck, I do not recognize this from the video game. Where am I? And why are there so many elevations? Yeah, because track goes also up and down a lot. So take someone who knows the track so he can educate you, but most importantly, keep you safe. And it's only a fraction of a cost, because if you're coming from Brazil, you're already spending like a couple of €100 for flights, etc., etc. And it's gonna...
A couple of thousand.
Probably.
Yeah.
And on stay, it's just a small fraction that's gonna benefit you so much more. So take a small car, do not pay more, because you can always, after the first lap, say, oh, I'm Massa, I know what to do, you know, I drive and it's fine. But yeah, again, don't pay too much for what than you would use. Take a slow car, take an instructor, take someone who knows what they're doing, and go out and have fun. And most importantly, have fun. I always say in every single video to everyone, there's one saying, you cannot impress anyone here at the Nürburgring, but you make everybody laugh. Whether if you're going to end up crashing, or because you had such a big mouth and eventually you made fool out of yourself. There are plenty of examples that we can tell you and show you, but just don't come here with expectations. Come here just only for you. Don't come here to prove a point to your friends or whatnot, and just enjoy and have fun. And after that, if you're getting good, then you can start impressing people by entering racing series and do something good. But there's nothing that you can win on the public session, because you can lose a lot.
And within the context of this question, manual gearbox or a double clutch gearbox, automatic gearbox?
Again, for the first time, double clutch gearbox, because again, unfortunately, a lot of people have still this old misconceptions. You and I grew up in the time when manual gearbox was like, what the fuck, like, okay, 2 minutes later it upshifts. Oh, 3 minutes later it downshifts, and now I'm in the wrong gear in the corner. It doesn't made for the track. Or front-wheel drive. A lot of people are like, I need to have a rear-wheel drive car.
That was the other question, right?
That was the other question. But nowadays, in today's technology, automatic gearbox quite often on a sports cars means double clutch gearbox, which you can pedal yourself and it will shift faster than you would ever will with, even if you have like the world record fastest arm wrestler or something. So take a double clutch gearbox because you will need to have all of your attention on the track and not being like knowing like which gear you need to be and like mis-shifting and getting used to the car you never drove before, and there are different type of shifts and throws. So definitely automatic gearbox. But which type of drive, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you really want to have a rear-wheel drive. It's fine because nowadays with all the modern traction control systems, you will be safe and sound. So again, there are people who say, I don't want front-wheel drive because I will understeer into the wall. This is bullshit because all the modern cars are equipped with very nice differentials, whether it's already limited slip differentials or even like torque vectoring systems. Like for example, Cupra, Seat Leon Cupra, is faster on the track in stock form than a stock BMW M2, which has more horsepower. Yes.
Deixa só, let me just explain that. Seat Cupra é mais rápido original do que M2 pela primeira vez na pista. Só para vocês entenderem bem, porque vai estar na legenda, mas aqui eu caí da cadeira com isso. Going back, just in Portuguese.
Yeah, so exactly. So all those misconceptions about front-wheel drive being shit is just like, it's 10 years ago, maybe even further down. And again, there are other people who say like, rear-wheel drive, oh no, I'm gonna oversteer and crash into a barrier. No, those cars, it's like the days of, if you switch everything off, then you're done. Simple as that. As good as you can be, like even if you have like Porsche GT3 RS, all like instructor and professional driver, they would never switch off the traction control completely because they say, then you're done. There's always intermediate modes that can help you like to have a bit of like more play, but it will help save you from like losing it completely. So that's like, people need to get by with the time, and unfortunately it's gonna take a couple of years. And the next stage, when people who are gonna embrace the nowadays technology of having the front wheel drive not being bad or double clutch transmission not being bad, at that time we already have electric vehicles, and people are gonna say take electric because gasoline engines and everything is shit, and people are gonna be like, no, electric vehicles, I'm not gonna like, I don't like Prius. So this is something that takes time, and by the time that people get used to something was good, there's already the next thing out on the market. And it's just like I'm explaining, it's like, it's a normal thing.
And moving up the ladder, since we're talking for beginners now, moving up the ladder, if we had to say about the best weapon of choice to drive on the Nürburgring, which car manufacturer would you say that it is more suitable for Nürburgring?
Okay, so
as an original equipment, let's say.
Original equipment. So you Bruno behind the camera is pointing to the GT3 RS Mark II that we have.
Oh, really nice.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump on that because everybody's gonna tell that I'm a Porsche fanboy.
Yeah. So there are two main brands here at the Nürburgring that are well represented. You have Porsche and you have BMW. Are you a BMW fan as well? Or?
Yeah, quite actually.
Good. That's good. No, so which is the best weapon of choice? The question is, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And again, what are your goals and what do you want to do? If you take Porsche out of the box, car is probably the best car there is for the Nürburgring. Just simply because Porsche actually owns a whole village near the Nürburgring. I kid you not. There is a village, I'm not going to tell the name because tomorrow I'll be found dead somewhere in the woods because I'm...
They take that very seriously, right?
Yeah, no, there's a village that looks abandoned and closed, but sometimes you drive past there and 1 week there are going to be 200 Porsche cars parked in front of abandoned houses. So Porsche takes the Nürburgring very, very, very serious. They develop the cars here every single day for many, many, many laps and hours and whatnot. And that shows. The cars are over-engineered to be on the street. So that's great. BMW does pretty much the same thing, but BMW cars are not built as a sports car. Yeah, of course, they are a sports car, don't get me wrong, but there's something called GT car.
Exactly.
A GT car means you can be fast, you can have fun, but most importantly, grand tour, you go from one city to big city, another, you can drive for 2,000 kilometers and do not be exhausted, tired. But with comfort comes sacrifice of being fast on the track. So again, what happens with the M3, whether it's an F80 or E92, those cars are built with, again, being fast, but
road cars, essentially.
Road cars, essentially, exactly. What I'm trying to say, there's still a lot of work you need to put into it. And eventually you will end up having spent as much money as to a stock Porsche. So you need to throw out all the seats, you need to change the suspension kinematics, you need to change suspension. However, one thing remains, and not a single car will be Nürburgring proof. There is things that you can expand the components' lives, but something will go wrong at some point, certainly. Whether it's a Porsche, whether it's a tuned BMW, there's going to be something that you will have to have a small headache. Whether it's the question is how big of a headache, and that's again comes to preparation. So there is not a perfect Nürburgring tool in the world. It depends what you want to do with it and what your budget is. Because I know people who just have like an old Volkswagen Lupo and they drive around for years and years and years. But what they do with it and how they do with it, it keeps like the budget and life like longer. If they're gonna start taking every single curb, try to go faster, they would need to like improve the components, then it's gonna cost them more and end them up with a headache. So the perfect tool, the question is again, what do you want to do?
And that applies to Brazil. Isso se aplica também ao Brasil, gente. And since we're talking about weapons of choice for the Nürburgring, let's talk about lap times. You know, in Brazil there is a huge discussion because basically between the manufacturer, the showroom spec and the test spec. And the question that comes up obviously is that there is the DT2 RS, the lap time, and there is the Lamborghini lap times, the Performantes and the SVJs. What do you have to say on that? I don't know if that is a problem or an issue for you to tell about, because in Brazil we're telling that you cannot trust what Lamborghini is saying, essentially.
I think that's also a big part because of what I did to Lamborghini with the Huracan video when I dismantled and asked a lot of questions. Yeah, there's two types. There are two sides of the story. So first of all, yes, even Porsche is not really innocent to that regard. They have the stock car, yes, but the question I just want to refer to the GT2 RS lap record. What made them go this really fast? The tires. The Michelin Cup 2Rs, which make the cars roughly 10 or even more seconds faster on a lap.
On the Nürburgring.
Yes, and those tires became available only last week. But the car record has been set last year. So different tires. But again, still you can mount the same tires and you have the same car which was driven with the lap record. So Porsche is actually very innocent. If we're going to compare those two manufacturers again, then Porsche is definitely very good. They're the only ones, again, like I told you previously, they take the Nürburgring very serious and also all the lap record at times serious. So the tire question would be the only question like, hey guys, come on, do we really need to wait for 1 year? But it's something tire, compound, etc., etc. For the rest, the car was completely stock and similar. They actually took the car, which would be presented, and after that, once they would set the lap record, they would give it to a journalist to do the same thing. The journalist would be pretty fast himself, but he would be roughly like 10 seconds off a professional driver. So they do it very good. The question with Lamborghini, however, okay, just additional credit to Porsche before I continue to Lamborghini, what did they do to 919 record? They did it, and within well, they invited all the journalists who would post the same lap time while it was happening, and the actual video they posted within 30 minutes. I don't remember exact time. In 20 minutes, the full video was live here. We've done it, done. This is what then, there's nothing to say. Lamborghini, on the other hand, takes a fully camouflaged car with, you can argue that there's a roll cage in it and this and that for driver safety, but that's rigidity. It's not a production car again. It will still benefit you. But all the secrecy around it, all the like that they did it, and it takes them months and months and months to like release the actual video, to say like we did it back then, and you can, you and I as YouTuber,
you can accelerate the video like in the performance.
You could. But then again, what I can say, for example, with SVJ, I clocked that car to actually being capable of doing that. Yeah. But by saying that, I clocked that particular car that did it. But what was underneath that, what we saw? Again,
I remember you said something about being like 6:55 for the
Yeah,
SVJ,
yeah.
not the actual time that they...
Yeah, but because it was not during the lap record attempt, because they eventually they drove faster, so I said that it could have gone a couple of seconds faster. But the question is, why would you be so secretive about it? I mean, if it's a production car, you should, again, take example of Porsche and do it and drive it. Again, going back to Porsche and their lap records, every time that they do it, they have a state notary coming from the state of around.
There's a saying that around the Nürburgring area, GTR was known for being a one-lap wonder. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Why is that?
Uh,
He doesn't like GTR, so that's why he's laughing inside and outside, you know? He can't control it.
First of all, I don't know exact numbers, like in terms of numbers values, but I know that roughly after 1.5 lap, the engine, the gearbox or transmission oil reaches like, I believe, 160 degrees.
Oh, that's a lot.
And above 150 or above 130 degrees, you need to change the whole transmission oil and fluid for like 2,000 or 3,000 euros. This can be very easily eliminated by putting an oil cooler, and then it keeps things okay. But you have to do it. The car is not ready for the street. I mean, for the Nürburgring use out of the showroom again. I know there, especially regarding Nissan GTR and lap record attempts, there are a lot of myths, but unfortunately, it was before my time that I can clearly myself confirm that the actual lap record car was that bad in terms of like completely different.
And last question, two manufacturers that we like a lot, one of them really respectable in terms of lap times, and the other one has this whole aura behind it, but we don't get to see that a lot. What about McLarens and Ferraris? Why don't we see that many Ferraris around the area? A gente já falou de Lamborghini, performante, ele fala. But what about McLarens and Ferraris? Ferraris, we just don't get to see them a lot here. What about the experience around these tough conditions of the Nürburgring?
It's hard to say. I mean, there are many answers possible to that. I know McLaren, for example, they actually told us when we bought the 720S as a taxi, they actually openly asked us not to try any lap records attempt with it. But we know that the car is capable. We have done passenger laps, very, very low 7 minutes. We have a test lap when the driver goes out in the morning to test if the car is okay. With our setting, with our no factory support, with just a casual tire, and the driver did 6:57. I have it, yeah. Although it was a bridge to gantry time, which is you need to add another, for that car, I would say 12 seconds maybe for a full lap, between 12-15. But still, the car is definitely very, very capable. But for some reason, the brand as McLaren, they say, we just simply don't care. But I can say from my experience with the equipment, with the cars, that they're very capable. But for some reason, they don't want to be involved in this whole thing because they have another vision. So they just have different priorities, but why it is the case, I don't know, because the car is definitely capable of having a very fast time, but for some reason, they just choose not to. If we speak about Ferrari, again, they have completely different strategy. Ferrari is a completely different brand, and it has a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, a lot of Ferrari is mostly about prestige, about being to have a Ferrari. If you cannot just go inside the showroom and buy a Ferrari, you need to have bought 10 other Ferraris. And for me personally, it's a bad thing. I can also say that like natural aspirated Ferrari, like engine is like the most beautiful sounded engine I've ever heard. So, but then again, if you look at the achievement, I hope Pista gonna be a success.
Oh my God.
Because they have a lot to make up with the Pista.
Yeah.
Because as of now, everyone just like, why should I buy a Ferrari other than be able to park it in my living room, invite 10 of my other douchebag friends and say, well, I know you can buy it, but you couldn't because they didn't allow you to.
That is so perfect, you know.
But I can confirm that we almost died on the Nürburgring after 1.5 lap in the Ferrari 430 Scuderia because car decided to go full on the brakes because the diff was overheated and then it was in the bottom of the foxhole. The car was like uncontrollable. Yeah, your diff is overheated. You need to slow down. Not when you go 250 kilometers through the foxhole, you retard. So...
what can I say? You know, it has been a pleasure to be here to talk with you. I mean,
finish. Tell us about Sabine Schmidt. Why she's not here when she left.
Vai lá perguntar no...
tá no microfone da câmera.
Yeah. Sabine is actually pretty much our neighbor girl here. Her niece, the daughter of her sister, which is also a neighbor, used to work for us, but her other commitments with work and study didn't allow us to. But what I want to say, she didn't leave. She's officially still like the resident of Nürburgring, or actually like Bavaria more. The thing is, she's got so famous that she has other projects to do. And I'm very happy for her because, you know, she's hosting Top Gear. She did some type of lap record with the Skoda Kodiaq RS or something, like a massive 7-seater SUV. So she's doing a lot of things, but I'm very happy for her that she doesn't have to be here at the Nürburgring. She outgrown it. I mean, there are a lot of other opportunities, and she's doing that. And occasionally, she's still racing here. She's part of Fricadelle racing team. She does something, but yeah, at some point, you just like start doing other things. And again, people, please, if you come to the taxi office, don't ask if Sabine is driving today. That today was last time was 10 years ago for BMW. Understand?
Wow.
So,
Misha, come on.
Can I go there?
A câmera vai te ouvir também.
I have to thank you.
yeah.
Excellent explanation about the GTR.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
He loves GTRs.
I hate the GTR, but it's okay. In your opinion, which sports car is the best not to use on the track, but to park in front of a restaurant to show off?
Any sports cars which the doors go up.
Any of them?
Any.
Philip Byrne, SLS Owners, meus amigos donos de SLS, grande abraço para todos vocês. A gente ama a SLS, mas a gente sabe que there is a huge group of SLS owners in Brazil. They're actually exporting the cars to Europe to sell them for money, and you know they are all organized to ask for huge prices on their cars. So, but Misha, I would like to say that it has been the utmost pleasure to be here. You're actually a legend. Everything as I was expecting from the YouTube channel. It's simply you. You're amazing. You're a charismatic guy, and we hopefully will get to bring a lot of Brazilians here. I want them to know you because basically ApEx and yourself represent what we're trying to achieve with Amigos por Carros. So thank you very much for your time. I know you're a very busy person. You're very famous, and it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, honestly.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for your time, for watching. And if you decide to come to the Nürburgring, send us an email. Tell us that you came from this video. And we're going to give you 10% off and the best customer service we can provide. And we have Bruno come here. He can also instruct you or anything in Portuguese. So.
Yeah, sure.
Ele fala em português. Fala umas palavras para a tela.
Bom dia, falo em português. Para quem quiser ver, o Misha já disse, 10% de desconto. E nós podemos ajudar com instrução em português também.
Bom, para vocês que chegaram até aqui no canal, eu gostaria de pedir a todos vocês para se inscrever, ativar as notificações no sininho. Gostou do vídeo? Deixa o like para nós. Lembro a todos vocês que essa viagem é um oferecimento Mannequin Travel Brasil, com quem nós estamos formatando um pacote de turismo automotivo. O canal do Misha está no descritivo desse vídeo aqui. O link para a ApEx também está no descritivo desse vídeo. Se você gostou desse conteúdo, vocês estão vendo aqui nas telas finais uma série de outros vídeos dessa Eurotrip do ApC. E nos vemos no próximo conteúdo. Até a próxima, gente. Muito obrigado. Valeu.